Have you ever had the experience of hearing something for the very first time and instantly knowing that that's going to be one of your favorite bands? Tonight, I'm paying tribute to such an artist. For 30 years, I've been following this band, and one of my favorite bands and one of my favorite guitar players, one of my favorite guitar sounds, and one of my favorite albums, and an incredible debut album. Stay tuned to find out more.
Welcome!
Welcome back to the channel, YouTube. My name is Gary, and this has Become the Music. Thank you so much for joining me. Tonight, I'm paying tribute to a band called I, Mother Earth, someone that almost nobody out there, I'm sure, has heard of unless you're from Canada. I, Mother Earth formed in 1990 by the brothers Christian and Jagori Tana. Christian is the drummer and Jag is the guitar player. And they had a vision for a specific type of heavy band, but not like angry, metallic, that kind of thing. I, Mother Earth is really special, and I've never heard anybody that sounds like them. The closest thing I can compare them to is, I've always said they kind of sound like the funk of the Chili Peppers with the psychedelic influences of Jane's Addiction and the groove of Santana, but heavy. Sound cool? I thought so too. So I discovered this band around 1992. I had read an interview and a review of one of their shows, and at that time they didn't even have anything out. They were a brand new band. They were just working on their record deal. All they had was a demo. They were about to release their debut album, and I saw that they were playing in a little club, and so I went down with a couple of buddies, and it was a Tuesday or Wednesday night, something like that, a room of maybe 200 people. There was about 30 or 40 people in there, and this band came out. I had no idea what to expect. This band came out and just destroyed. They were so good, and I immediately, like the first few seconds, I was like, these guys are unbelievable. And I've been a champion of this band ever since, and I love all their stuff. They've been through a couple incarnations. They lost their singer in 1996, I think it was. So their initial singer was a guy who goes by the name of Edwin, and after the first two albums, creative differences, the standard things in the music business, he left to do a solo project, and they brought in a guy named Brian Byrne, who they released two albums with, and before they kind of broke up. They're back together now. They just do they tour on the strength of their history. They don't release music anymore, but excuse me, this band is just fantastic, and they were on the verge of success in the early 90s. And here's an example of that. I drove down to Seattle to see them, and I still have the ticket stub someplace. And I, Mother Earth was headlining in a mid-sized club, maybe 500 or 600 people. And the opening bands for I, Mother Earth were 311 and Incubus. So that tells you, they had something going on, right? And I've always maintained that if I, Mother Earth had come out of the States at that time, they would be where the Chili Peppers are. It's another discussion to talk about why Canadian bands have a problem breaking into the US. Hello, Tragically Hip. But that's the case. Sometimes Canadian bands have a difficult time of breaking that market because there's such a huge amount of competition. There's 10 times the population in the States, 10 times the bands. The cities are closer together. It's easy to tour and build a following. It's different up here in Canada. But I'm going to dive in and, talk about the first album, the debut album called Dig, 1993. And to quote Ian Faith in Spinal Tap, the manager of Spinal Tap, every cut on this album is a hit. No, every track on the album is really solid, very psychedelic, really heavy, but super groovy, like funky, groovy, really interesting. And his guitar textures and the tones that he gets and his use of effects and all of this stuff, the writing is so good. And they continued that for 3 more albums after the first record. And I'm going to link a couple of reactions to a few songs off of that album. That album actually won, up in Canada we have the Junos, which is kind of like the Canadian Grammys, and their debut album beat Rush for the album of the year that year. Pretty cool. And actually Alex Lifeson from Rush played on a song on one of their later records, And he also played on Edwin's Edwin sang on Alex Lifeson's solo project Victor, which is a really cool album. So that band had a lot of commonality, friendship, that kind of stuff. They gigged together. I Mother Earth opened for Rush a few times. So today is the 30th anniversary of the debut album of I Mother Earth, and I couldn't think of a better time to talk about this amazing band that I would love to share. And hopefully, even if a few people find that they like this band, hey, my mission's accomplished, because I love to share good music and music that's meant something to me in my life. And this is one of those bands. So please check out my reactions to I Mother Earth's material. I'll link about 2 or 3 songs. I'll do some more over time, but this is a couple songs off that killer debut album. So thanks a lot for joining me, and I hope you like what you hear. Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye.